I can quote Warren Buffett when they ask him what's the most important thing in any business, and he said cash. If you don't understand the cash flow position, then
you can't manage your business.
Exactly, yeah. When you hire people, you need to hire people who are better than you.
A good businessman can't become an accountant, but an accountant can become a good businessman.
Yeah, I have to pay 54%. So
Wow.
54% of your income is gone. I always say, tell me my salary is 5,000, but don't tell me it's 10. Then you take half of it, just tell me 5 and, make me believe it's 5. Quality is number one for me. Hello, my name is Yousif Alkhanjari. I'm the group CEO and chairman of Assist Plus Group. Today, we'll talk about my past experience and how will this help in reflecting into the world of SMEs. Today, we will talk about how important is financial literacy to the SME and the entrepreneurship business.
Hello, Yusef. How are you?
Good. And you?
Fine. Thank you so much for inviting us today. It's a great pleasure to talk about such important issues with a person who has more than 26 years of experience in accounting and business administration. That is amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I think it's very important subject. At least for me, I have the passion for it. And I'm happy to be here.
So nowadays, entrepreneurs and young businessmen think that it's more important to be focused on marketing and sales rather than accounting, for example. Why is it such an important mistake and a doubt?
They're all important. But the only thing the difference is, accounting is fundamental. When we say sometime stick to the basics. Yes, we are in a rapid world now. AI is taking over. You have the softwares, application, they automate the processes. But I think it's important to stick to the basics sometime. And one of them is accounting. Accounting triggers a chain of effects. If you don't have, your bookkeeping and accounting and monthly reports generated, then you won't be able to do your financial statements to management. You won't be able to do your audits and to explain to the shareholders, what's the company position, what happened in the previous year, what's expected as projections. You won't be able to meet and fulfill the Federal Tax Authority requirements, And finally, also now with the government introducing the in-country value certification, especially on the federal level, the federal government and Abu Dhabi government and some of the Emirates are joining soon. You won't be able to fulfill this because if you are going to do business or engage with the government, you have to have an in-country value certification. Yeah, I can explain the in-country value certification. It's a process where as a certifying body, we come and assess your procurement. Versus, where are you purchasing locally or are you purchasing from, let's say, China, India, abroad? Manpower, are you creating jobs? Are you creating Emiratis hiring, Are you investing in the economy and local GDP? So these are all a reflection of your commitment to the local economy. And then it's a score, actually. It's a percentage, it's like a certificate where you have a score of 20%, 40%, and this reflects the contribution of the company towards the local economy. So you can imagine it starts from bookkeeping and ends to, contracting with the government, meeting shareholders' requirements and expectations, understanding where you're going as a business, where do you position today, you can do your future projections based on all the numbers that you have. So it's important to understand your numbers. Now, when I say important, I mean the owners or people who run the business, You might have an accountant or you might have a finance manager in place, but you as the head of the company or the stakeholder, and shareholder, you need to understand at least some extent and what does this number specifically means, Like I can quote Warren Buffett when they ask him what's the most important thing in any business, and he said cash. If you don't understand the cash flow position, then
You can't manage your business.
Exactly, yeah. It's one of the key factors. Some people believe that profit and loss statement is important. Yes, it's important. But if you neglect your cash position, you won't be able to fulfill your short-term obligations, So I think, going back to your first statement, starts with accounting and bookkeeping. Might sound small, might sound not interesting, but it's very key, fundamental to get set up from the beginning. Yeah, and then the other complement each other. So it's a full cycle. Yeah, it's a full process where you have the marketing, you have the operations, you have the sales, you have the technical team in place. But at the end, what drives the business is the cash and your records, yeah? So
many people underestimate the importance of accountants.
Yeah, I believe so. I've been seeing a lot, given the 26 years of engagement in the local private market, the public market, public sector also. And I won't say ignore, rather than they kind of, when you say literacy, it's, illiterate. You don't know how to read and write. It's the same thing. It's a financial literacy thing. You need to educate yourself. We need to educate ourselves, Things are moving fast, yes, but we need to also club this with the numbers, At the end, everything is the numbers,
This is not so easy to educate yourself in
I
this
understand,
sphere.
and I can really give you good examples. Being a registered court expert within Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, you see court cases because of bookkeeping. It's a dispute between two parties. It goes to the court, judgment, and someone can go to jail or someone can get fined. And the reason, if you find out, but they did not have bookkeeping, so they don't have evidence to show you
right.
That this really happened, or the employee, let's say, annual ticket was released, and so sometimes you miss an email and the case, you lose the case because not providing such records. You don't have an audit financials, for example, yeah? So one of the things that we go in and when we tackle cases is the company doing their audit on annual basis?
By themselves.
Yeah, they appoint an external auditor that comes in and say, yes, company A is fulfilling and meets the financial position, etc., But because, going back to your point, they ignore it or they neglect, or sometimes they feel it's difficult to understand and not really interesting for him, complicated maybe, I don't know. And it could reach to a court case where you lose the case. You might be right, and the judge might know you're right, but
they don't have the evidence.
Yes, precisely.
I really liked your quote saying that a good businessman can't become an accountant, but an accountant can become a good businessman.
Yeah, why I said that is, I think maybe many would agree, is it's easy to convert an accountant or someone with financial background, be it a finance major, to become a businessman or business owner. So because he has this aspect of the numbers, and engage the proper team of marketing, sales, so it's a matter of setting targets, trying to achieve.
And good communication skills.
Definitely, communication, I think, is, for me, transparency, communication is key. It's very important for any business owner, doesn't matter it's accounting or not. If you don't communicate, no one will know. If you're not transparent, nobody will know, So you might have your own objectives in place, cascading it down, and, either top-down approach or bottom-up approach. It's very key, fundamental, to success of any business,
Anyway, success in any business is about discipline, it is about stability. And accounting is what's related to discipline as well, right?
Definitely.
Are you a disciplined person?
Oh, I hope so. I hope the team sees me that. Accounting has principles that we need to follow. Some are theoretical, and some are, case-based, where you need to apply the theoretical part of it. It's a procedure. Not trying to divert your question from your question is you have to be disciplined. While you deal with numbers, how you calculate your risks. It's important. Me, to some extent, maybe you need to have that flexibility sometime. When you deal with people. With myself, I won't say I'm 100% disciplined, but you need to have a process in place. We call it technically standard of operations. So and it's the normal term usually accountant know is SOPs. This maybe also comes into the having an accounting system in place. So the next step would be to have standard of operation in your business, So once you get as an owner or as a CEO of a company, you understand your numbers, and then you need to make sure you have standard of operation. It might be financial standards, might be non-financial standards, Yeah, so discipline is important to set the kind of rules and boundaries of the business. People get to know how to, sometimes maybe surprised because you think they know, and it turns out to be they don't know, because you judge based on your knowledge. Because let's say if I assume I am an expert in accounting, doesn't mean you are an expert in accounting, and you will know how to do it, even if it's a graduate of accounting. Could be a fresher, could be background not supporting the adaptation of the new joiner of the company. So if you define the SOPs or standard of operation in place, at least if something happens in the future, at least you can refer to, and you need to make sure it's the employees or whomever is engaged with you is acknowledging these SOPs, So back in Assist Plus, we tend to we draft these SOPs, we have it in a guideline manner, and we make sure everybody is aware of it, and acknowledges the process that been either implemented or set by the management.
This is very, very important, and for any businessman, your company makes a great
businesswoman,
and businesswoman, I really wanted to ask a little bit of your personal experience in accountant. I know that you originally did not want to become an accountant yourself, but your father is accountant, and he is your role model in life. So how did you take this decision?
It's a good question. It's a funny question. There's a story behind it, actually. When I was at my last year in the high school, I was every time, I'm the fourth in my family, 10 brothers. So I used to tell them I won't go to university. I don't want, when you're young, you try to get rid of school and that's it, So I used to say, I won't go to the university. I will not do this, And surprisingly, I went to the university. I majored what my father's background, accountant. Allah yarhamah, he passed away. And I became an accountant. And so to take you back, this was in 97, joined ADNOC. This was my first career job. And ADNOC is in one of the companies that really stays with me till date. The reason is the exposure that you get in ADNOC being a global company, and you have the chance to move from a group company to another, and you get more exposure, So honestly, I didn't plan it. It came destiny to be an accountant. I enjoy it, honestly, and I think it's unplanned good decision that I took that helped me a lot even in my daily life, and you can ask my wife if you want. She can tell you everything is about numbers and calculations and making sure the funds are well managed,
You also have to work in different spheres. And the exposure that you're talking about, it's also about cultural differences, working with different nationalities and in different spheres.
Absolutely.
In how many spheres have you worked?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I started off with the oil and gas. And then after 12 years of tenure, I moved to the education sector. Within the education, I was a regulator area. And then I moved on a business mission to one of the public universities. It was a business mission, and then moved to public health insurance, Laman. Became the CFO of Laman. And then my last tenure was in the public sector was with the Department of Finance, Abu Dhabi. And why I'm saying this is, I think one of the success factors for any business or any individual actually to be successful in the career, ladder, if positioned in a higher level position, is exposure. Yeah, I'm not saying being in one place is bad, because sometimes people tend to see it's bad that you move a lot. But I think the exposure that comes with it, the different cultures that you interact with, in ADNOC, you have international shareholders from UK, BP, you have Total, from France, Shell from Netherlands, ExxonMobil from US, and then you have the local community, and then you have the expat within the UAE. So the exposure is very high. And moving to the education sector, now you have a different, ADNOC operates as a semi-government kind of, is a company, but it's a profit maker, yes, but it's a state-owned company, group of companies. And then moving to education is fully public involvement to public schools. Yes, we touch upon on the private sector, but mainly public schools. So it was from A to Z, I was there as an accounts head. So my exposure is numbers and money. So I had to be involved in, school transportation, the school maintenance, school operations. It was a very nice experience, honestly, and going back to your point, I think who heads the entity is very important, really. Dr. Mughir, mashallah, and he's one of the people who really influenced me as a person, and his guidance, how he leads he's no longer there. He used to lead the education sector in Abu Dhabi. He can really influence and make you produce, and then I moved to the, Oman health insurance, another exposure. The management was German management, a joint venture between Abu Dhabi government and Munich Re of Munich, the largest reinsurer in the world. Again, different exposure. We used to go to Munich. They used to come to Abu Dhabi. We do benchmarks with their subsidiaries. And then last stage was the public finance with Department of Finance. So you get to see the numbers. You get to see big numbers, Abu Dhabi's numbers here. So you can imagine the local economy of Abu Dhabi is one of the largest in the region, in the MENA region. Yeah. So I think exposure is important. If you are less risk taker individual, you are a more passive individual, then you can stay where you are. Don't go to the business world. If your risk appetite is very high, and you need to have some sort of gut feeling. Yes, it might sound funny from an accountant, but but honestly, it's your gut feeling sometimes plays a big role in your decision. When I say gut feeling, I mean the risk levels. You have to have a risk taking, at least some level of it.
Not to be afraid of this world.
Yeah. Oh, don't go to business world. Really, don't do business. And I have some close people who I know, very close, excellent speakers, certified coach. They can, help you in any problem to solve if you have, self-issues, self-resilience, self-management, name it. But when it comes to doing business, he literally, said no. He says, I don't see myself into this. It's the risk appetite again,
How do you manage to combine both of the sides?
Honestly, I don't know. I think maybe it had a lot to do with the past experience. I don't know what the scholars would say, but maybe also it has to do with your personality as an individual. Now, experience doesn't mean work experience. Could be your home, your friends, who you sit with. How do you educate yourself? Doesn't mean you take risk or gut feeling and you don't educate yourself. I won't try to kind of promote myself, but I think one of the things which I maybe do and used to do before is daily learning. When we started to have internet in Abu Dhabi back in 98, I think back in 2000, 99 in ADNOC. ADNOC used to have a central lab, so your PC has no internet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to access the internet, you need to go to the central lab. It's like an open big room with PCs, and you can access the Internet Explorer. So I used to go a lot, you know,
To
and
learn,
and
to
yeah.
learn.
So during my spare time, I used to go and search and read and know what is leadership, what is people management. You attend a meeting, you hit someone, you know, English is our second language. We attend a meeting, we hear the word, for example, cascading is important of information.
What is cascading?
So you go and check what is cascading of information. How do you better do the cascading? Why should you do it? So I think constant learning, it's one of the factors that you need to have. And you need to be hungry, you know, for information, really. If you think you are in a sustainable position, doesn't mean you stop. And you should educate yourself on a daily basis.
To be hungry for new knowledge,
Yeah,
to be a risk taker, at the
definitely.
same time to be very disciplined and stable person who gonna assess all the risks and take
Definitely.
the right decision. And also, a very important thing, not to be afraid of failure. I know
Yeah.
that you are a serious entrepreneur, a serious businessman who launched several businesses. Some of them
Failed.
have
Yeah.
success, yeah, some of them failed.
Yeah.
What did you learn from this experience?
My first business was in management consultancy. It was with me and my brother, Rashid, the elder one. And we decided to go and try the luck, provide management consultancy. Now, when we started, it was in the 90s. Don't want to sound negative, but it's people, the local community they were not familiar with a local being advising. Yeah. So usually with McKinsey, E&Y, these big names have to be involved to guide, consult, or advise, or, you know. So this was back, you know, more than 20 plus 30 years back. So, but now things are changing, you know, and the company was good, but it's a failure. We did not continue. I moved into properties. So again, so I worked in the properties. Timing is important. Maybe we need to mention timing. Why I entered the property world with the price at the top, you know, before the crisis in 2007, 2008. So I think timing was not planned, but was in my favor, in my side. So I think failure and success will come, but entering in a business we don't say it's an easy ride. You will face challenges. You will, you know, whether financial challenges or delivery challenges or people management challenges, but you have to be tolerant. You know, you have to really have the heart to stick there. You know, it's, you do sometimes have the moment of, you know, you feel that this is going nowhere, you know, and so how quick can you exit, or should you continue, you know, identifying where is the mistake or where is the, you know, error happening, you know. Is it the people? Is this the, you know, cash management issue? Is it maybe the product is not sufficient, you know, maybe the service that you offer, thousands others offer it, you know, and so I think, yeah, it's a journey, actually. It's a learning journey for anyone who decides to go into the business world, but you need to equip yourself with the right tools, you know, and you need to surround yourself with the right people, really. You know, it's...
How do you choose right people?
Yeah, I mean, it's important. You're not the master of everything. And for SMEs and startups, I think at the beginning you should be everything. You know, and I know this. I did this myself. You know, you will be the salesman. You will be the office boy. You will be
The accountant.
You will be the
whatever.
accountant. Yeah, you will be the CEO. But you need to get the boat moving. You know, you need to make the wheel rolling. You know, at some point. And suddenly you will have people joining, you know, people get to know you, the brand will be more familiar in the market, and then you grow up and yeah.
You say that right communication and right people is the key to success.
Again, maybe to quote, I think it was again Warren Buffett. I like to hear this guy, he's a wise guy. I think he mentioned once, I'm not sure if he did or not, but he mentioned, you know, when you hire people, you need to hire people who are better than you. You know, so yeah, so if I say I'm going to get someone as a marketing manager or sales manager, he has to be better than me. You know, I won't be teaching him. Yeah, you might have junior or freshers, yes, but who will lead sales? who will lead the IT. He has to know more than I do because I'm not an IT expert. I'm not a sales expert. I'm an accountant with the background, yes, etc. I have some exposure in sales, yes, I understand that. But who will help drive, and set the strategies would be someone joining you as a team member and knows more than you. Yeah.
So this is so difficult for your self-esteem. So you need to be humble. You need to understand that you are not the best.
Definitely. Yeah. It's not about best or worse. It's about who knows better. Yeah. It's I'm an accountant. Or let's assume I'm an electrical engineer. Yeah. Or civil engineer. So I have to have someone that can really be an architect. Yeah. To do the architecture or the design side of it. Yeah. Or the builder. Yeah. I won't be doing X and Y and Z. I cannot be expert in everything. Yes, accountant has an advantage, which we mentioned earlier, that the advantage is you can convert into a businessman because you have the financial side of it. Yeah. But yet again, you need to have the right people in place. Yeah. I think it's very important for the success of any business. Yeah. Even at the public sector wise, I think humility actually is a trait, you need to have. It's not an auto thing. I think it has to be in you, giving maybe, our local backgrounds from Sheikh Zayed or Hamayani. He used to be a humble. He's the founder. You need to acknowledge your position, honestly. You acknowledge your position. Let's assume you are the CEO, yeah, or the chairman of X company, or the president himself, for the country or any country. You are at that position. So you don't need to be aggressive, People view you as the head of the hierarchy, correct? So you don't need to really
prove them something.
prove themselves and make him know that I am the CEO or I am the head of X, خلاص, people see you and view, okay, you are there actually. So they look at you, So open door policy, I think Sheikh Mohammed Rashid always emphasized this, the open door policy, you don't have to have barriers so I can reach to you, might be a minister, or it doesn't matter who you are, you are there for an objective, and you are there for a purpose, and you are there for a limited time. Nobody's going to be there for a longer time, Have people know you, the good side of your individuality and as a person, my career itself, 26 years, and I shifted from fresh joiner, developee. They used to call us developees, Today they call them fresh graduate. We call developees, you're still trying to develop your knowledge, know-how, etc. And alhamdulillah, I ended up to be, head of treasury of Abu Dhabi. So it's a big responsibility, accountability, and big decision is to be made. Yeah, we used to have teams support us in decision, but you need to be very exposed. You have to know a lot. You have to attend a lot of meetings, and you have to have the right team in place. And if I'm not humble, or I'm not, even if someone maybe shies away from the word humble, or at least you need to be listening to the team. It's not always one-way communication with your team members, because they will have inputs that you missed, and this is something we learn every day, even I can give you an example. Today, I was in a meeting with the team in the morning, discussing one topic, and the people who are in the room really contributed in a way. They enlightened me, and things I was not aware. Good example specifically would be let's say the legal officer, She mentioned as an accountant, I should be aware of because it's a legal aspect, but I'm not a legal specialist. So the decision has to do with the employees. She commented something, and she referenced it to a law, so
this is how it works, a good symbiosis, right?
Definitely. It's important, really. It's very important.
Let's talk a bit about UAE. UAE has changed a lot throughout these years, and nowadays it attracts more and more entrepreneurs from all over the world. So why Abu Dhabi become more important for the global economic right now?
I think Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and the other Emirates, like I think Fujairah launched their hub now this year, and I think Queen has something, Ras Al Khaimah also. So the whole country is actually, they set the foundations correct. Use your resources, especially financial resources, in a way where you make sure that your economy is sustainable. It's not only petrochemical driven economy. Yes, part of it is that, but the return and outcome of this sector needs to cover and create new opportunities within the market. Oil is a depleting commodity, and we don't know until when it will continue. Hopefully forever, but I think what UAE is doing for the last 20 years, I think is a game changer. They've created these incubators, where they attract potential investors.
The free zones.
Yeah, the free zones, correct. And the property development that goes on, people might say it's risky. Everything has a risk at the end, but again, maybe going back to the risk appetite. Yeah, in UAE we have some sort of high risk appetite, calculated risk. Yeah, and I think giving the matters to who knows better. So we have some key figures publicly known who are actually assigned to make sure things are moving forward. I think the regime and policies that the UAE applies are very important and fundamental. The openness with the other cultures, the openness with the different economic treaties that we've been seeing recently with, name it, doesn't matter, as long as there is an opportunity for both parties, UAE or the counterparty. And it takes really a wise man to do this. And I think we have the right wise people leading this country, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is why so many businesses are growing every year in Dubai.
Definitely.
And what are the basics that any entrepreneur, any businessman who launches a new startup in Dubai know about the accounting here? So what are the first steps? Should they start doing their accounting from the day one, or they can do it in the end of the financial year?
Day one is important. You might have less transactions, maybe even starting a company, you need to be aware of it, because what would happen usually, these incubators in the country of the free zones, they will ask for business plans and feasibility studies, where you kind of present your investment idea, and to get funded, they need to see that you understand your numbers, So usually what happens, the investor, or they will go to a third party and they will do the study, but then they disconnect, which is wrong, because the purpose is just to have that pitch deck to present and convince the investors, and then you go and do your thing, fine, but you're losing something, you're disconnecting, because you need to follow what your plan says. Yeah, and in order for you to follow, then you need to have in place the proper, bookkeeping processes. You need to have the invoicing, especially now with the Federal Tax Authority mandating the VAT to be a tax invoice. Corporate tax is a new thing introduced recently in UAE. This year we will be seeing the first corporate tax filing in place. We are seeing it actually in the, based on our, our services that we offer in the market. People come for things like tax advisory. What does this mean? Am I eligible, not eligible? The small stuff you won't be able to know it even unless you really have someone advises you towards these things. For example, what's the difference between the VAT and corporate tax itself? The VAT is the value added tax is more of, you're not obliged unless you meet some threshold that the Federal Tax Authority.
What exactly amount?
Yeah, I think it's around 370 something thousand. Yeah, to 5% on your sales, and it's a sales driven thing. You have sales, fine. You don't have sales, and nothing will happen. And then you offset whatever you have your own in terms of purchases.
Yeah, And what about the corporate tax?
Yeah, corporate tax is different. Corporate tax is a 9% on your net with some conditions, but you're mandated to register. It doesn't matter if you're a grocery, if you're a company, if you're an enterprise, you have to register, and if you're an LLC, you have to file, even if you don't pay it. Let's say your net does not qualify you to pay the tax.
What does it mean that your net doesn't qualify you?
So your net profit, if it meets the corporate tax threshold set by the government, then you need to pay the 9%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there are a lot of technicalities behind it, like the price transfers, intercompany expenses. This all needs to be calculated. So on your net, you pay 9%. But if you meet the threshold, but you need to file as long as you are classified as an LLC and above. So yes, I'm not eligible for payment, but I need to register and file for the VAT, for the corporate tax. Sorry.
How not to get lost in this? Where should I file? Where should we pay? How much percent? What is the first step for any business owner here?
Yeah, so basically, the Federal Tax Authority has its portal, and there's some checklist that you need to fulfill. Of course, trade licenses, the company registration documents, article of association, who are the shareholders, etc. So if you're an establishment, it's different. It's easier, it's straightforward, But if you're most of the companies are LLC companies. So you need to, going back to the basics, which I mentioned earlier, if you have to have your bookkeeping in place, so your accountant can generate your unaudited financials, and the external party, which is the external auditor, needs to come and audit. So if you don't have your audit, you won't be able to file your corporate tax, And then tax advisor would come in and go through your financial and make sure that the calculation is correct, based on what the Federal Tax Authority guidelines, Then you'll be able to file. But if we kind of shortfall, on the bookkeeping, or the audited financials, then you go into, other stuff which is conflicting with the Federal Tax Authority, whether it be penalties or, chasing you for payments. We don't want to go there.
What are the common mistakes for people who just start launching their businesses, or, for example, have been doing their accounting by themselves?
I think for me, based on the interaction, is defining the standard of operations. It's very important, really, at the financial level. I'm not talking about the operation as a company as a whole, because this defines the processes and procedures required for you to be able to run your accounting cycle in the business in an appropriate manner, and not something you can avoid. Sometimes error occur even at the accounting level, but if you have something in place, so what they call is you create an institution, where it doesn't matter who runs the accounting, or it doesn't matter who runs the sales department, as long as you have a process defined in place, and any newcomer will follow the process itself, So common mistakes, I would say the lack of understanding that the importance of having a procedure and processes defined within the company. Some small stuff could be, not knowing you should issue a tax invoice today. It's not like because, we are transitioning, the UAE is recently doing this as a tax scheme. So people are familiar with the old way of doing business. So they need to really educate themselves. Things are changing, and not to view tax. We tend to view tax like unnecessary sometimes, like why are they doing this? But I think it's important, especially in a country such UAE or the neighboring country, Qatar. The government is subsidizing most of the things, roads, schools, hospitals, they're all subsidized by the government, built by the government. And I think it's time to pay at least something back. Yeah.
Sure.
But yet again, I think how they're doing it now is gradual, where you maintain the attractive factor of attracting foreign investment into the country.
Yeah. If we compare UAE to still, even with these taxes, if we compare UAE and Europe, for example, this region is so much more interesting, and that's why we see so many businessmen from UK, from Germany, from France running to UAE to launch their businesses, because even with these new regulations, this market is so much more competitive.
I have an idea because I've been in UK a lot, and the taxes are very high. Similarly, I think some even the Middle East countries, they with coming up with taxes, different tax schemes. Transportation tax, road tax, coal tax, TV tax. Of course, yes, we say you're paying back to the country by building, let's say, new road, but of course it will create some pressure, at the individual level. I'm not against it, but I think it need to be really studied and planned well, and how you really launch such schemes. UAE is a diversified culture-based country. You have more than 200 nationalities. And to my personal view, if you introduce such schemes, I would support it as an individual, and not because I'm a national, because the amount, of value generated locally in the economy, and you need to make sure it stays to some extent within the country, to better sustain your economy. Yeah, and I think this is understandable. But once you start touching people's incomes, then this is where individuals start to, make sound and noise, and not specifically mentioning any country, but I think what happens in Europe and US and some even, the other countries is they have a lot of tax schemes going on, income tax, corporate tax, VAT, transportation tax, I don't know what else tax, I think in the UK for you need to have a permit for a TV. So I mean, yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this.
Exactly.
So a permit for a TV, I don't know what's
strange.
the logic behind it, but maybe they have their own logic. I'm not sure about that. I'll give you a good example. I was in the airport in that cab. So I don't know. The guy was Egyptian, actually, the driver, and I asked him, "How is your job? How is the salary? How is this compatible with Egypt, etc.?" And he said, "It's good, but I have to pay 54%. So
Wow.
54% of your income is gone. I always say, tell me my salary is 5,000, but don't tell me it's 10. Then you take half of it, just tell me 5 and, make me believe it's 5 rather than telling me you would get 10,000 and 5, you won't see it, and if it's going to the pension, then fine, because at some point I will get it back as a pension.
Right. In these conditions, when the UAE's regulation regarding the taxes is slowly changing, when there are the new implementations and many, many details to be aware of, what does exactly your group offer? What exactly services do support the businesses on each step of their work?
So Assist Plus Group is a group of companies, and we position ourselves in the market in a way that we are going to support you in your business from seeding. Seeding means when you just started, either you're a startup or you just got funded, to harvesting and sustainability of your business, and even at exiting. Let's say you decided to exit, we can also support you in that manner, So any business is a cycle. We try to help how you prolong and sustain your business. So at the beginning, we have companies that specialize in bookkeeping, accounting, tax filing, and VAT filing, feasibility studies. We have companies that can help process development. We can help in ISO, certification. We have companies that can help into valuation services, where if you want to understand and know how much is my startup worth now, and you seek new investor to come in, or shareholders want to move in or out. So we come in and we do a full business valuation for your company, and we can tell you your cost per share, how much would it be, and you get to know your value today in front of the market, and to have a fair value for your purchase, or buy out, buy in. It depends what's your decision. We can also support in terms of the certification when it comes to, we mentioned earlier, the in country value certification. We're one of the certifying bodies. We can also assist the companies and how to really train their staff when it comes to self-resilience. We have certified coaches in the company where they come in and they show you how to really create the work environment where we'll help from the people perspective, people side of the business, not only processes, so, and then auditing, of your financials, filing your taxes, and then if you decided you want to liquidate, we can also help you in liquidating. So the group actually acts as what we tend to call as a supporting services understanding, because usually in the public sector you have supporting services where we have HR, IT, etc., which are the intangible, service-driven functions. So we are supporting services of the market. So you focus on your core business. We try to help you and and cover your non-core operations, or services. So it's what we try to bring in is the value behind it. Of course, there will be a fee tied to it, but we always try to make sure you see the value behind what we bring in on the table. And these are fundamentals, like we said. If you miss this thing, some people actually might hire. Hiring sometimes is expensive, unless it's really essential for you to have someone in-house, and yeah, we can also help you in outsourcing if you want.
You focus on your business, we take care of the rest.
Exactly, yeah.
That's very nice.
It's very important, yeah. It's very important.
Very nice. Why is your approach different from the other companies, for example? Because there are so many consultancies on the market.
I think the diversification of the team itself, accreditation that we have in place. Yes, the other companies, you can mention the big five or big four, but the local knowledge of the market, more than 90% of CEOs of the group companies are locals. So we kind of have, the local knowledge of what's going on in the market today, accessibility, any updates that the government might introduce, or what the market shift is today. Yeah, and as a founder of the group, one of the key things I always inform the employees, doesn't matter what's your role in the company, is do not jeopardize quality because you want to close a deal. This is my approach, honestly, as a person, and I emphasize this to the team.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes, yes, you try to close the deal, but we need to make sure. But if we say, if I quote you, let's say 10,000 for X service, but the 10,000 needs to be reflecting the value behind it. It's not just monetary value. It's rather than the service itself really fulfills and solve the problem within the client's business, or I will not engage with you. So it's very important to differentiate these two things. And this is what I always try to emphasize to the team, that, quality is number one for me.
If you could share one piece of advice with entrepreneurs who are entering the market of UAE, what would you say?
We've touched upon a couple of them. Yeah, I think surround yourself with the right people. Make sure you do calculated risks before you engage. You need to be wanting it. You need to have the passion for it. Really. Don't go into a business if you don't see yourself in it. Really, you need. Most of them they do actually, because they have this driver. The driver should not be because you want to make money. Honestly, Yes, one of it is to make money, of course. Everybody wants to make money, but you have to have the wanting factor. You want this, you have the passion for it, and you at least have some sort of background. You are an accountant, don't go into tailoring business. You are not a tailor, So if unless you have a right hire that will support you with your idea as an entrepreneur, as a startup, then you better not do it, really. And I think things are messed sometimes is the valuation of the startups. You worth something today, you will value yourself differently tomorrow. Like the economists they like to call it, today's dollar is not equivalent to tomorrow's dollar. Yeah. So valuing your services or your business is important. Even if you're not going to sell anything, or you don't want to sell your shares, for example, but at least you need to know, how much do you really worth today as a business? There are a lot of factors to be considered, actually.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, for sharing your insights. I strongly believe that what you are doing is going to get a great success and recognition here, because you accomplishing your mission, meaning helping the businesses grow, helping many entrepreneurs focus on their goals, on their businesses. And this is going to make the great, collaboration between these two.
We hope so, the same. Yeah, thank you for the wishes. And we really are here to support business success, and we're doing it with passion, honestly. Yeah. And we are available in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. We have an office in Ras Al Khaimah and Oman. We have a presence there, and we have a representative in UK also. And we try to really play part and contribute positively to everyone's success. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.